so-called flying saucers.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. It's rotating.
Welcome to Kill the Stigma. So as a father of a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, I have authority to speak on this. And more with the I hate talking about this. Let's just say that a very important person had this on their body. And I've seen it multiple times. And the worst fear of my life is for the stories to be true, that it runs in the... So I do not talk about this with 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds or 5-year-olds at all. And I'm terrified of it. Now, what Jim is saying, which I'll show you in a minute, Jim Semivan, CIA, super high up. What he's saying is that the moment you get into this, that basically you get like the hitchhiker vibes or the, you know, that kind of shit. So, and it can change things up or whatever. This might get weird. That's what he's saying.
I think what the government knows, I mean, the government in this program, people read the literature. They read the literature. They know about abduction scenarios. They know about contact scenarios. Books have been written, about the static variables that happen when you have a quote unquote abduction experience, whether it's actually an abduction or, a mental suggestion that it's an abduction. I don't know. But if you look at what we do know, as Kirk said earlier on, this is real. All right. Non-human intelligence or some kind of form of intelligence is real. And we know that it has the capabilities, to do things. It can have the capability to make you think a certain way and to do a certain thing. It has the ability to do that anytime it wants to do that. Perhaps they're shape shifting. Maybe there's 6 different species. How the hell do you explain, and this is one of the problems with all of this, how the hell do you explain a reptilian or a mantis-like figure to an 8-year-old? He's going to hear about it when disclosure happens. And if any of you have, kids or grandkids, I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that position to try to explain that. And I had somebody who was very well, who knows this topic very, very well and was involved in the government for a long time regarding this topic, say the same thing to me. He said, when we started To the Stars, I mean, he came up to me and he said, why do you want to scare 8-year-olds? He says, do you understand? He kept telling me, do you understand what's behind this? And when Hal took me aside, and I mentioned this before, and I was briefed on some areas while I was at the agency as a contractor, 2 different times, very lengthy briefings, and they weren't so much on UAP, but they were on the attendant of things that are associated with UAP, and mostly psi stuff, and that they were real. And when you have people with very high clearances sitting you down and explaining this to you, and you already know some of this stuff yourself, but you had that veil there, right? You and then all of a sudden, because you didn't really know if it was true. And I think, yeah, it's probably true. I do believe it's true, but I don't really know. And then somebody takes the veil and throws it off. I mean, I'm not a real sophisticated guy, but I will tell you, it shocked the living hell out of me. And I had to take a break. And I was shaking a little bit. And when I got home that night after the first briefing, and my wife is, clinical psychologist, she said, you have that 1,000-mile stare in your face. And I had it for a while. It was just a little bit too much. And I still don't like the feeling I have now about this when I think about it or talk about it. So I know I'm being discursive here, and I apologize, but I guess the point is we have to be very, very serious about how we go about this and how about we discuss it. And when people just say things like, "Oh, it'll change humanity for the better" and what have you, well, okay, maybe it will, but I don't want to take that chance. You know.
Well, yeah, I'd hate to take a chance, but at the same time, it's not going to get better with age. And the idea that you're going to keep the people from, in some ignorance is bliss position. I just, in the end, I can't live with that. I mean, myself, I think, no, you got to face up to what's going on. You got to deal with it. Um,
Well,
if,
I think that's. I don't disagree with you. As a matter of fact, if somebody said, "Make up your mind right now," I sort of would side with that. That the truth is really
yeah,
important, and there's no question about that. We need to know that is a birthright of us. I mean, our humanity. I mean, we should know where we sit in this universe, and
Yeah, because if Jimbo had a freaking chance to throw a free throw, hey Jim, if you get this, Jim, if you get this free throw and we get this closer, if you don't, we don't. Okay, I can do that. Sorry. Fucking missed, dude. I don't know what happened. I usually get those.